Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. This is our final episode of 2021 and season 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Did I talk too soon?
It's okay.
Oh,
With
nice.
me is Ben.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you, Ben, for being here. Thank you, companions, for being here all season long. And thank you so much to Dipsy for supporting us every step of the way. Dipsy is an audio app full of short, sexy stories. If you're looking to heat things up, there is a story waiting for you. Get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/howcome.
Nice.
I have been back here in Portland with Ben for like 2 weeks, 1 week.
Yeah, about a week and a half.
Yeah, for the holidays.
came out to spend Christmas with my folks and I, and it's just been so lovely.
Oh,
Thanks
it's
for
just been
coming.
so fun and nice and weird to be back because, like, I feel like the second I came over, everybody started getting sick.
Oh yeah, well you timed it perfectly again. You left New York City, and every single person we know got COVID.
Yeah, Ben made some joke that was like, anytime Remy comes to Portland, you should just start buying toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like,
did I make that joke?
Yeah.
No, I think
that me?
No, it was Gabby. I think made that joke.
Maybe it was Gabby,
I
or
think
maybe it was me.
I think it was Gabby. I'm pretty sure it was Gabby.
Okay.
Like
I really want this joke. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. No, I would have claimed it if I had said it.
Yeah. But it's been cool.
It's been lovely. It's been snowing. It's been some great jolly days. Rem's, instead of calling it holidays,
I told them.
Oh, you already told them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Ben, what was your favorite present this year for the Jolly Days?
I like my freaking fur coat.
Oh, yeah. We got matching fur coats.
Yeah, we got not real fur,
No.
but just like really hyphy colored green and purple.
Very
fake fur.
Whoville.
Yeah, very Whoville looking.
Matching coats, but different colors.
Yeah, I think that one's my favorite.
Yeah, we
Why,
got
what
them
about
together, and then we put them under the tree for each other, and we were like, whoa! When Ray and Jane were like, you guys are so
You guys
weird.
are so weird.
My favorite thing that was not a gift to me, but feels like it is a gift to me, is your microscope camera.
Oh wow! Yeah, I got that for a job I was gonna do, for a filming job I was gonna do. I
Did you
never
end up
ended up using it. No.
But it was a gift at Christmas dinner because he brought it down, and we were like playing with it with his little nieces who are like 21 and like 13 and like 17 or whatever. And like all of us were like looking at our zits under the microscope camera.
Yeah, or fingernails. Oh
Oh,
yeah, so
it was
gross.
gross. It was the best time ever.
These microscope cameras, they're the best. Look them up on Amazon. They're amazing. They're like $30.
It's like $30. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. But
yeah. And I love tweezing my ingrowns in my pubic region.
Oh geez. Yep.
Oh, gee, what do you mean? You're acting like you don't know that this happens. What I'm about to say.
Yeah, but I was going to say,
he
I
very
know,
much knows this happens.
If you release the videos of it,
People are going to know that it's my pubes.
Yeah,
I got a big spread.
I don't think you can be posting.
None of it is
TikToks.
close to whole at all.
All right, yeah, okay. Well,
we want to make this a business, you guys.
I mean, the videos are very entertaining to watch.
I tweeze my ingrowns.
Oh,
Ben
boy.
sets up the little camera.
Oh God.
And I'm so skilled because I'm a child of a surgeon, and so I can just get these suckers out, and I just push the skin away, and the hair pops out, and then Ben and I rewatch them, and we're just like,
it's crazy. It's
if
crazy.
you were Ray and Jane, you would think we are fucking all the time because all you can hear in our room is like,
oh fuck! Oh shit!
Yeah, get it right.
Oh,
right,
get it!
Right.
Get it! Oh shit!
It's amazing.
Jolly days.
Might release them. Might never release them. Might be exclusive for Patreon. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you can release them as long as you're not like, these are my pubes.
They are though. Like, where else would they be?
Your legs.
I guess. Well,
anyway, you can look at all sorts of stuff under this thing.
Yeah, you can look at fabric.
Fabric looks cool. Sand looks crazy.
Sand?
Yeah, sand.
I mean, you said Sam. I was like,
Sam,
so
my buddy Sam looks crazy under it. But yeah, like so far, tweezing pubes is like the coolest shit we've seen.
Oh, it's so good. I can't wait to do some more tonight. What were we talking about with Jolly Days? Oh, yeah, no, it's been nice.
Yeah, Robin's coming. You guys are going to meet. We're going to go back to New York for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Everybody stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay safe and stay inside if you need to.
Yeah, well,
Watch
what I've
some
been...
great TV.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff coming out. Cobra Kai's coming back.
Oh, my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
This episode that we're introing is about Sex in the City.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah.
It's not called Sex in the City, though.
And just like that.
Right.
And like we're dissecting it and also kind of hate watching it. But I read an article this week about hate watching and that we watch stuff to talk to each other and just like feel like involved.
Yeah.
In stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad.
Right.
But then eventually everybody watching that stuff and talking about it ends up getting it nominated for like awards.
Right.
So that's bad.
Right. There was something else that came out recently where I was like, did they do this on purpose
Emily
to
in
get
Paris?
everybody? No, that wasn't it. But yeah, that's terrible.
I already binged it.
Yeah, exactly.
Insane.
There was something else that was like super bad. Maybe it was The Matrix. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seeing mixed things on The Matrix.
We should watch it.
But yeah, there's good shit coming out. Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah.
Obsessed. A bunch of people gave me like a list on Instagram, which was really cool. Yellow Jackets is supposed to be really good.
Yeah, we're supposed to watch Yellow Jackets.
But Yellow Jackets might be scary for some people.
It's supposed to be scary.
And I just discovered a website that I think is really cool, and it's called doesthedogdie.com, and you can go on it and see anything that might bother you about a movie. Like from, does the movie have bugs in it? To like, is there a brutal murder scene? Like,
right.
Does someone fall to his
death?
It
even tells you if an animal's killed.
Right. The whole thing is like, oh, I don't want to watch this movie if it's going to be sad and like the dog dies.
But I don't want to go on that site because then it's just full of spoilers.
It is full of spoilers, but I don't mind spoilers.
But
I feel like spoilers are just
But it also, I feel like, makes the movies seem worse than they are. Like if you go to Does the Dog Die for like Infinity War for like Avengers or something, and be like, do animals die? To be like, yeah, 50% of them in the fucking universe. You know what I mean? But they won't.
I wonder
it'll
if
just
it does say that. Where's your phone?
I don't know. Here it is.
I don't know. I looked up Titanic, and Titanic has like so many scary things in it, but it is true. Clueless too. I was rewatching Clueless, and there was like a lot of problematic moments in it, and they get mentioned. Like, there's like, oh, is there fat phobia in it? Is there? Okay, now we're looking at Avengers: Infinity War. Spoiler: if you haven't seen Infinity War, half the population dies, but they come back. Spoiler.
Yeah.
For Endgame.
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
I don't know how to read this. Are these votes?
Yeah.
These are votes.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically it's like, are there bugs? Like, no. And it's like, does a dragon die? And it's like, no. Does a horse die? No. Does a cat die? No.
Yeah, like no animals are shown dying.
Right. Does someone have a seizure? No.
What is that? Yes.
That yes says Doctor Strange is seen violently shaking his head while viewing the future.
Oh. Is there finger-toe mutilation? It says no, but then some people are like, a villain's hand is cut off when they reach through a magic portal while it's
That's
closing.
true. All right. Well, let's move on from this.
Okay.
All right. We just saw West Side Story.
We did see West Side Story. And West Side Story is crazy.
From start to finish, the dumbest people. These people are terrible.
Everyone is so, especially the Jets, just so fucking racist, only against Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Which is like very bizarre. Like they seem to be down with everyone else, even like they're like not transphobic at the end of it. And you're just like, wait, but you still just hate Puerto Ricans? Like, what's your problem?
They've got displaced anger issues.
Okay. Tony and Maria are total psychopaths.
Oh, God. Maria's the worst, dude.
No, Tony just got out of jail.
Tony
and he's
Tony
like,
just did a really half-assed job of trying to prevent anything.
He's like, I want to be better. And then he's like, you know what? I'm actually going to go kill her brother.
I mean, he sort of tried to stop the fight, and then Griff got killed, and that's why he got all crazy and killed the brother Bernardo. But yeah, that's what happened. Tony went in there and did a half-ass job of trying to de-escalate things.
Murder of the brother of the girl that he's like in love with after one night.
Oh God, so dumb.
So dumb. And like, I used to watch West Side Story a lot, and I never realized how dumb and psychotic the two of them are. Like, she literally has sex with him while he's covered in blood
from killing her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all infuriating. The people, the dancing is fantastic. The singing is fantastic. The characters are infuriating. I
didn't want to see it initially because Ansel Elgort is a sexual predator, allegedly.
And he is accused of things, yes.
Yeah. And
he is.
I believe him, and I was like, ugh. And seeing how creepy he was in this movie, I was like, at least that's redeeming. Like, he's not really portrayed in the best light.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like Spielberg gets it, like that the storyline is creepy. Like, it was like there were some shots of the two of them where they looked really psychotic. And I was like happy that
he touched on, like, hey, these characters should not be like...
Yeah, like, don't aspire to be these people.
Yeah, this is not a cool love story.
Did. Yeah. And it's based on Romeo and Juliet, which I think a lot of people, like, misconstrue as, like, ideal. And it's like, you're 13. Like, don't kill yourselves.
Yeah, like, the parents in both situations need to be paying more attention.
I don't know where Maria's parents were.
And I don't know where Tony's parents are. So, you know,
I blame
their upbringing.
They did say that a lot throughout the film.
Yeah.
That they were like, our parents aren't around, and that's why we're so fucked up.
Yeah, I blame the public schools, the public education system also.
Okay.
But yeah, these are the dumbest group of characters I've ever seen in my life.
I also didn't like that it was like the Puerto Rican guys all looked like they were in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And the white guys were all like 18 to like 25, and I was just like, why did they cast this way?
I couldn't understand. Are they children? Are they supposed to be in school? Because they went to like a school dance, and like
they all went to a school dance.
Everybody's like 30 and 40.
No, only the Puerto Ricans.
The Puerto Ricans are all 30 and 40, and then
then it's like high school
kids. And then there's high school kids, and then there's like teachers and cops.
Yeah,
it doesn't make like who is responsible for these people.
I don't know. I'm glad that this version, it was more clear that they're insane.
Yeah. And like, it was really, really fun though, too, visually. And
beautiful.
Spielberg did a great job, or whoever the director of photography was. Woof. So go see it, but like you're going to be made more aware of how absolute batshit these people are.
No, but that's literally this entire episode is like, yeah, you could maybe watch Sex and the City and just like that, like if you want, but like just know that these people are batshit.
Right.
You know, like don't let this
like be a
sway
barometer.
your life. Yeah. I'm sure people did leave West Side Story being like, that was so romantic.
Oh, I'm sure people still are, but I think like a lot more people, just like you were saying, was that like that had seen it as a growing up or whatever, left this one with a more firm understanding that this is a fucking
like when Anita was like, a boy like that will kill your brother. I didn't realize like he had just killed her brother. Like, and everything takes place in such like a short period of time. It's like they meet and then the next day like he's dead.
Yeah,
and they bang.
Married. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, it's all weird. So they need some guidance.
But the music is beautiful.
They need some.
The choreography is amazing. They need some guidance.
They need some guidance. They need some fact checking also too, because a lot of problems were just like made
because cell phones.
Yeah, it was just made because like someone would tell them something and they would just react immediately without checking in on anything. Like, oh yeah, she's dead, and it's like you don't want to go ask go check her house or ask one other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Look into those Ansel Elgort allegations if you want to. There's also allegations against Mr. Big, which I say later in the episode.
Maybe they knew and they were like, let's kill him off.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, this has been 2021. 2022 is going to be so cool.
Yeah, 2022 is going to be great. Lots of, hopefully COVID dies down a bunch and people can get back to their lives and their jobs and we can,
Their
start
jobs.
going. Yeah, like us too. Like go back on tour and do what you like to do, with the people that you like to do it with. And, I hope we can get back to some of that.
Totally.
Where you can go on vacation and not like get judged by people.
Me.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It would be nice. And if you like to stay inside, you can still stay inside.
Totally.
That's something I learned this year too.
Yep.
Is if that's what's good for rejuvenating you, if you like watching TV and it fills your soul, do it.
That's what you learned?
Yeah, just do the shit that makes you happy.
Sure. Yeah.
I need more hobbies for sure.
Yeah, more hobbies. But getting outside is good too, besides laying around watching TV.
Yeah, it's fun.
She likes it when she gets out.
What?
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited for 2022. A lot of good things on the horizon, I think.
Yeah, and there was a good thing that Kim Cattrall said when she decided she wasn't going to do this show. It was like, I don't want to be in a situation for even an hour where I'm not enjoying myself.
And that's me too.
And that's dynamite.
Yep, and I'm going to start living my 2022 like that.
Yeah.
Let's all do that.
Yeah, go off, Kim. Sorry I never contacted you because I thought you were in space.
I think that's so funny.
It's so insane.
You're an idiot.
Good job not signing up for this reboot because we're about to tear it to shreds.
Yeah, we don't like it.
But I will say, we recorded this before we saw episode 4. Episode 4 is not bad.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It's still bad, but it's less bad. And somebody said it's because the director was someone specific. And she is really good.
Well,
Look
we'll
up
see.
whoever the director is.
Do you think they're going to do more, or is this it?
We talk about that in this episode.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. Better listen up.
Stay tuned. Yeah, better not just listen to the intro and bail. Although if you don't want to watch the show, don't listen. And if you don't want to watch the show even after listening, don't watch the show. Because I don't think it's essential viewing. I just think that this is a nice accompaniment. If you are going to watch the show, this is a good lens with which to watch it through.
Cool.
So yeah, 2022, be yourself. Tweeze your pubes under a microscope camera. Stay home or go out as much as you like. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
We love you.
And what did Kim Cattrall say?
Don't be anywhere that you don't want to even be for an hour or something.
Yeah, don't be anywhere that you're not enjoying for even an hour.
For even an hour.
Yeah, screw that.
How poorly must they have treated her for her to leave this show? But we learned something very interesting in this show with Ashley Ray from TV I Say, comedian, amazing, and Paris Campbell, who is also a comedian and does really great recaps and just like that.
Okay, well, I've got to watch it, so don't say anything else.
We don't talk about episodes 4 or 5 on this because they weren't out yet when we recorded it.
Oh.
But if you want to hear my thoughts on the new episodes, you can watch them in my stories. I make really great breakdowns, right, Ben?
Oh, yeah,
on
man.
every episode.
Oh, yeah.
They are long and people enjoy them.
People enjoy them. I don't watch them. I just watch the show and I go, I hate this, and that's about it.
You get the real time my reactions.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But yeah, if you want to hear my episode thoughts, you can see them on my Instagram at Remy Casimir. Follow me. And Ben, would you like to be followed as well?
Yeah, you can follow me at Benny D NYC. Woohoo!
Don't embarrass me.
What?
Stoked for this episode. Don't be a stranger, everybody. Come to a show if you want. If you don't come. But some of our shows are streamed. All of our ticket links are below for future shows. If you can come all over the place. And you can live stream. There's live stream tickets. to the Caveat show. So you can
Very
come
cool.
from all over.
Nice. When is that?
It's on January 27th, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. It's in the
Very
link.
exciting stuff.
Thank you for being here, Ben.
Oh, thank you for coming to Portland and spending Christmas with me and my family, Remy.
Oh, of course. Did you finish?
I sure did.
Oh, great.
Did you finish?
I wish that toy had been at the store.
Yeah, we're gonna find.
We gotta find me a new
We
toy.
gotta get some new toys sent. Track you down a new toy.
I hope to have an orgasm in 2022 because this year's not been kind to me lately.
Yep, the toys aren't working.
No, gotta upgrade. Gotta figure things out. Maybe we'll bring back some assignments
Woo!
next season. Who knows?
There we go.
All right. Now listen to me and Ashley Ray and Paris Campbell and Robin about And Just Like That. And don't watch it if you don't want to. Goodbye.
Bye.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
We're doing an episode on the first 3 episodes of And Just Like That.
Which I know nothing about.
Have you watched Sex and the City though?
Like the first 3 seasons because you talked about it, but it's never been like the staple of my life.
Okay.
I would say that for a moment of my life, it was a staple. And maybe it still is now. I don't know, but in a different way. But again, just a reminder, if it's not already a staple of your life and you're not looking to add it, don't. No pressure. If you are, this is just a fun episode to listen to. But while we're talking about staples of our lives, I want to talk about one of my holiday staples while I've been laying around. Sometimes doing less can lead to doing so much more. Dipsy Stories believes in less analyzing and more feeling your feelings, less stressing and more easing into things, less scrolling and more savoring the moment, less pressure and more pleasure. So with cold temperatures around the corner, bring the warmth into the bedroom with Dipsy. If you're looking to heat things up, there's a story waiting for you. Dipsy Stories is an app full of sexy audio stories, and now they even have brand new written stories. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. No matter who you're into or what turns you on, Dipsy helps bring the stories to life anytime, anywhere, even at your boyfriend's parents' house. So close your eyes and let yourself get lost in a world where only good things happen and pleasure is your only priority. Explore your fantasies in a safe, shame-free way. I always use Dipsy. It's the best, whether I'm alone and Ben's across the country, or whether I'm with Ben, or whether Ben's parents are in the next room and I just want to get all horned up with my Dipsy app and my new headphones. Ben got me headphones for Christmas so that I can make TikToks and like scroll next to him while he's trying to sleep. But also so that I can listen to Dipsy if I'm feeling like I want to get twined on. And I love their stories. Everything is like very realistic and you can just picture people the way that you want to. I've always said I don't really like visual. Audio is my jam, and a lot of you guys have said it's similar for you. So if you're looking to get excited or you're looking to like wind down, they also have wellness sessions to help you go to sleep, and sleep sessions as well to help you drift off. And there are hundreds of stories to choose from. If you're a creature of habit, listen to the same thing over and over. But if you want something different all the time, there are options for you. They release new content every week, so there's always something to explore. And I highly recommend. So for listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/howcome. That is 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/howcome. dipsystories.com/howcome. Okay, are you ready for this episode? I've been edging you so much. You're ready. You're ready. Here we go.
Welcome back, Ashley Ray.
So glad to be here.
Oh, so happy to have you. And welcome for the first time, Paris Campbell.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. How are you? How is being in the city right now?
I mean, comedy is canceled right now, so I'm kind of stressing out. I'm like, shit. But just been like focusing on making TikToks, trying to keep writing and see if I can just like bank material for when things open.
Yeah. Paris has done some really great videos and recaps of And Just Like That.
Basically just trashing.
Yeah, as we should. And then Ashley Ray, where are you right now?
I'm in LA. I'm at home. I'm in quarantine. I have COVID.
Oh no!
So, yeah, Yeah.
Oh no, Vid.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good now. I tested positive last Friday, and like the weekend and up until today was just like a fever dream of just being sick and horrible. Like I was vaxxed and had my booster, so it wasn't like miserable, but it was still just like, oh my God, I would get dizzy washing dishes and would just like, all I could do was lay down.
Oh, is everybody in LA sick?
I feel like, yeah. I feel like in LA, it's kind of like New York where it's everywhere, but people are just kind of being like LA chill about it.
Yeah, Rob, I don't know if we're going to make this trip.
Why am I coming in 2 weeks?
I don't know. We've literally been working together for like 3 years. We're finally planning this trip where we're going to meet in real life, and COVID's like, no, you're not.
It's not happening. No, but it is.
Maybe not today.
Oh my God.
You know, I have friends who are negative. I was also, you know, I'm a comic. I was out doing shows. I definitely got it like at a comedy show because we all stopped using those like condom microphones. So, you know, just be smart.
Those were so short-lived.
Right? And I honestly, like comedians are disgusting. We need to use those all the time.
I definitely got it at a comedy club too, like a month ago.
Yeah.
When I first got back to New York, I was scheduled to do this show, and I was like, oh, I left my vaccine card in Portland. And he was like, it's fine, just use this template. Like everybody who's not vaxxed has been using it and it's been no problem. And I'm like,
oh, cool. Super great.
I don't want to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also been to a few venues where like, I'm like, here's my vax card. And they're like, you're a performer. You don't need it. And I'm like, oh no, that doesn't seem right. And then I'm like,
that's not how that works.
I'm like, wait, what? Who's? Oh no,
because we're notoriously clean.
Yeah, you know, performers are just magically, unable to spread COVID.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a good time to just lay low and watch TV.
It has. I have been watching a lot of it.
And you're all caught up on And Just Like That?
Oh my God. Of course. I mean, as soon as they make as soon as they make the episodes available, I'm like, just shovel this into my face. It's like, honestly, the hate watch I look forward to most now.
I feel like watching this has the same feeling as watching The OC after Marissa died. Like, you're like, I know it's going to be bad, but I'm going to put myself through this.
Yeah, like
you have to.
Yeah. And I will say, I am a late in life Sex and the City viewer. I actually had not watched the show until last year, the first year of quarantine. And a bunch of my friends were like, you got to do it, like live tweet your reactions. I would love to see what you think. And at first I was like, why was this show ever popular?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And by the end I was like, I need to see every movie. I get it now. Like, I'm in.
Interesting.
But watching it back that far later, like, didn't you feel like everything was just so fucked up?
Oh yeah. Like all of it was fucked up. Like all of these women who are just like, are really terrified of sex. Carrie is like the worst sex like advice columnist I've ever seen. And like I just embraced it from the perspective of like, these women are horrible. Samantha is fine. Like I could at least get I could get a drink with Samantha. But like I mostly watched because I would take joy in like seeing them be miserable. Like I was like, that's what pulls me in. Like seeing, like seeing one of their boyfriends realize like, oh, you suck. We should break up. Yes. Yeah. Carrie does she deserves to get broken up with by a Post-it. Didn't feel bad for her.
Valid.
I feel like I was like 15 the first time I ever like fully watched it through. The first time I ever saw it was the Bozo the Bush episode. I walked in on my parents watching it. I was like, what the fuck is this? And they were like, get out.
Oh no.
But then when I was allowed to watch it, I think I was like 15, and I was not smart enough at the time to realize that Carrie is the villain.
Oh, me too.
Right? Like I watched it very like, oh no, she's like the archetype of like who I should be. Like I remember like having one day where I went to like a dance class at Steps, and I like walked around and had lunch alone, and then I wrote in my diary like, I feel so Carrie Bradshaw today.
Same. I watched it at like an unreasonably young age. Like I shouldn't have been watching it, but like I was watching it. I think I was as young as like 8, 9, like right when it was still airing. I think. And so like I mean I 100% was like, I want to be that Carrie Bradshaw, like living in New York City and all this dating stuff. I mean, like, I idolized it when I was a kid, and I didn't realize how fucked up it was.
I want to be know nothing about money, have all of my money in shoes.
Yeah. In shoes.
Be the worst friend ever, but have everyone treat me really nicely.
Yes.
every other podcast has now done recaps.
I feel like at this point, everyone's talked about the whole Carrie big thing and Carrie's reaction to the death. And like, that's old.
Yeah. She let him die.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't jack off for her.
Yeah.
And we kind of touched on this earlier, that Carrie is like the worst person in the world. You notice that like at some point in your Sex and the City journey, you're like, okay, she's a narcissist. And this doesn't change in Just Like That. She is still the same exact person, if not worse.
100%.
And
worse.
Because
now she gets to play the whole widow card,
yes. Which she tried to pull so hard with Natasha after stalking her twice.
Right, after stalking her.
Cheating on her, or cheating with her husband initially. But like, this woman who owes you nothing, she literally said to her, like, or said out loud, like, who doesn't respond to a grieving widow?
Oh my God.
Like plenty of people.
And you let him die.
You let him die. Your first thought when Miranda was all like, she was like, what do I do now? And Miranda was like, oh, well, you know, the coroner will come. And Carrie was like, I don't give a shit about that. I mean, like, what do I do? Like, I can't sleep in my apartment. And it was just like, she did not care. And then when they were like, oh, what kind of funeral would Big want? She just threw a funeral that she would want.
Yes.
Like everything 100%. About that funeral was like, oh, Carrie would want this like boring, all white, like thing. Like obviously Big would want his funeral to be in like a men's club where people smoke cigars.
With leather chairs.
Yeah.
Things smell of mahogany.
No flowers.
Yes.
And maybe, like some of his friends invited to the funeral.
Yeah, maybe some.
Like a few people who just know Big instead of just his secretary and brother.
And his brother that apparently exists now.
And I love that all the brother had to say was this. Oh, I love growing up with my brother. I'm so lucky I got to do that. But mostly what I want to say is thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
Like, did you write that for you?
I was like, did you write this brother into existence?
Did you hire an actor to play Big's brother to make you look like Carrie?
And it feels like everyone's also kind of like, I mean, there was, I believe it was Miranda who was kind of questioning what Carrie was doing, but Charlotte did the whole like, well, technically you cheated on her first, or she cheated on him first, and then it made it okay for you to break up their marriage. I was like, what?
So this is a question that I have for you guys, and that's just been like swirling in my head. Are they making these characters worse, or like hyperbolizing how bad they are because the writers finally like get it?
That's what I can't figure out.
I think so. I think the writers are like, we know these women would be criticized in our current world. So let's embrace how evil they are. They like look at Miranda. She wouldn't be this dumb. Like Miranda was like a fairly like good person. Not like she was better than, but she was smart about like
she was connected.
Yeah, she was connected. She wouldn't be like, oh, I don't recognize the black lady who just walked in the room isn't my professor. Like all of it is just trying to look like this like Karen, but it's like that's not who she is. So it just comes off as her being like really, really ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like they're using Miranda kind of as an example. Like, I think like they twisted her character on purpose, but at the same time, I kind of feel like with a lot of other things, they think they're doing a really good job. And they're like, this is diversity. This is us being like progressive, but it's really like from the mindset of like an old white man.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, we're going to call out the girls because they're like no good anymore. But now look at these great characters we have, like Che Diaz. Which Che is like, as a like non-binary comic who loves to smoke weed.
Hi, did they write Che about us? I was like, did you steal us?
Did you steal my life somewhat? Like, okay,
but
it's
a
like
podcaster, stand-up comedian. How interesting.
How original.
They stole our lives, yet made them completely unfunny.
Yeah, and made it horrible and embarrassing. Che is like the most embarrassing representation.
It is.
What are all of our pronouns? Mine are she, they.
She, they.
She, they.
Okay, great. I think all of us can speak to the fact that Che is, very welcome to see non-binary representation, but strange in that in their whole comedy concert, they were talking about how like, oh, we're always such like shown like such a stereotypical version of us. And I was like, are you roasting yourself?
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, are these like jokes that somebody who is like a non-binary comic who isn't funny would tell these jokes? Like,
yeah.
And how is it? What is like? I'm sorry, I'm a comic. What is a comedy concert? Like, who calls it?
What is a comedy concert? There was no music.
Snapping instead of laughing. That's what I was like.
That killed me. That was like an attempt at like we're gonna make it like Brooklyn culture, like
Charlotte when she like is looking around like, oh no, I'm so calm down, like you're okay.
But that's on brand for her.
Who would close their special with like some motivational speech where at the end they're like, here, and just drop the like the whole show scene was just like, no.
It was no. And I like a lot of aspects of Che, but then there are other ones that I feel like the writers think they can get away with just because they are non-binary, and like because Che is this like very woke, like literally has on their podcast a woke button, a trigger warning button that they play after the thing that needs the trigger warning. Love that. Have I thought of incorporating?
Yeah, would you?
It could be the woke moment.
Yeah.
Robin, can you make us like a woke moment?
Woke moment?
Oh, I like
That's perfect.
Yeah.
But there are things that Che does that make me very uncomfortable as like a comic and a person. Like at their concert, they were asking everybody who has fucked me and who wants to fuck me.
Who wants to fuck me?
Yeah.
Which I was just like, what do these writers think non-binary people are like and do? Like what?
It's also like if I saw a straight cis male comic saying that, I would be like, jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no thank you. And then, I mean, for me, the most embarrassing part is the way that Che smokes weed. Like, they made weed such a big part of the character's personality that Che, like, the first time you see it, Che pulls a pipe out in an elevator and lights it. Not a vape.
Not a vape.
Not a vape. What? Not a vape. Like a travel bowl. Like a...
Who does that?
Do you know that bowl though too? That's literally the most comedy bowl. It's like the one that like slides out and slips around.
It like slides.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to like it hides the smell and stuff, but then it's like, no, because it's just full of resin, it always makes it.
Yeah.
And because you're blowing literal smoke out into the air, like.
And then later they have a run-in with Miranda's son, and it's again just like, that's weed. Oh my God. And then of course the most embarrassing moment is when they obviously have Che shotgun.
Oh God.
Yeah.
With Miranda, which I was just like, oh, I didn't realize this was set when they were in college. I did not realize did we jump back in time?
Yes. And also roll it back to Che is the supposed master of consent, right?
Right.
Miranda's talking about the fact that she does not do well with weed. When somebody has told me they don't do well with weed, I say, amazing. I'm not going to push it for you anymore. That means more for me. But also, like, I don't want to be with someone who spirals from weed. And Che's like, yeah, totally. I hear you. Can I blow it in your mouth?
Let me blow it in your mouth where you can't control how much you inhale. It's going to, let me do it. Let me, and then I just was like, what are we supposed to take from this? That Che's like a predatory,
I think they are. I think they are.
I feel like there's this tendency, like in shows in general, to kind of portray like queer characters or non-binary characters as almost like aggressively sexual.
Yeah.
Like especially if you have someone who is in any way like appearing feminine or in any way, you have this kind of like almost like hyper masculine sexual vibe that they like force upon them. I think it's so gross.
Yeah, and that's absolutely what they're doing with Che, and it's just really, really weird.
Last episode, they started out by going, I'm going to jump across the table and pounce right on you. Like, what are
Nobody
you
talks like that.
No one talks like that. If you do, jail. Straight to jail.
Or that when, oh my God, what is when they're like, oh, where do you like to masturbate? And they're like,
oh God,
oh, I like to go to a Yankees game. Yeah, I get off by confusing everybody because I'm a terrifying non-binary person. And I was like, everybody probably just thinks you're like a butch lesbian with a short haircut. Like you aren't imagining everyone being afraid of you. It's just weird.
Did you see Disclosure?
Yes.
It's like the Netflix doc on trans people disclosing when you have to disclose when, whatever. Not whatever. It's really powerful. It's really important. And I feel that this character could be added to the list of people represented in pop culture unfairly, like on disclosure, because it's like, okay, so they're hypersexual. We don't really know what their type is. Like, I feel like also, like, why would Che want to go for Miranda? Someone who has like already insulted them multiple times, somebody who isn't sexually there themselves. Like, I feel like this character and the teacher, as much as we're like talking about like, oh, like Miranda, don't be a white savior or whatever, like we're expecting these queer and people of color to like teach the main characters and like pull them along in their journey, which I'm like, do the writers know that they're doing this?
I hope they do, because that makes it better to hate watch.
Yeah. It's like, at least
like if they know what they're doing, then it's like
you're turning these people into just tokens. Like, and even with Charlotte and the like Black parent PTA thing that she has going on,
Black Charlotte, like, a thing that they just casually called a woman who is not like Charlotte and at all.
Like, I was like, that woman's fun. She drinks. Oh my gosh! And then
she eats fries off of strangers' tables. That's not Charlotte. That's just a Black woman she knows.
She eats fries as long as they're greasy, girl.
Still so greasy, so good.
That was when I was like, okay, we are fully locked into the hate watch. When they were like, don't tell on me for ordering the fries.
I would never admit that I ordered fries. I was like, oh, are we casually addressing finally that Carrie has an eating disorder? Because we should.
Yeah.
That was never something that they really brought up. But I feel like this show was a big reason why, like, growing up, I thought that women were like all supposed to be like 120 pounds and like, you know, size 00.
Yeah. And Carrie would always talk about the importance of, or she felt that buying Vogue fed her more than actual food.
And she kept like her sweaters and
she never cooked. Food was like a very, I'm not interested in that thing. And I remember thinking that was so cool and that was so aspirational.
Yeah, they make fun of her in the reboot for like she's making fish, I think, in the first episode or something, and Big is like, Carrie cooking?
Yeah.
Where are we nowadays? Oh my goodness.
I haven't been living with her
I
for
remember
years.
when you kept your sweaters in the stove.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there had been some kind of way for the writers to tell us that they were on our side and that she wasn't someone like to look up to. Like, you know how like the Real Housewives editors, you can tell they're on your side and that they think that these people are stupid too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's got to break the fourth wall, look straight into the camera and just like wink.
No, she used to do that, but maybe like, I don't know what they could have done, but just something letting us know, especially those of us who watched it super young, that it's like, this isn't who you should be trying to be. This is a funny story of an airhead that like is full of clothes and colors and stuff, but like, don't compare yourself to these people or put yourself in a category. They made it, this show, it like became this thing. What are you? A Carrie, a Miranda, a Charlotte, or Samantha? The only archetypes of women or AFAB people. And then we were like, oh yeah, I'll try and fit myself into one of those.
Yeah. Or you were like me and you were like, I'm just going to reject all of that. And I just watch Grey's Anatomy and Daria. And that's it.
Yes, Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, Daria.
I was dark and twisted. I was a Meredith. So
see, I was a Miranda and very proud of that until this new series.
I feel like I always wanted to say I was a Samantha, but I kind of feel like I might be like a Carrie. Because I'm toxic.
I'm very toxic as well. Yeah.
Yeah. If I have to fit in that, like, I'm definitely a Samantha. I feel like the perspective I want constantly is just like, what is Samantha doing in London? I bet she's hating on all of them with way cooler people.
I think I know what you're about to say.
The girl on TikTok who was like, I have a theory. This was not Samantha's main friend group.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, she is their best friend. But she has like a lot of other people that she hangs out with.
Absolutely.
I feel like that could be reality.
Yeah.
Like she would never.
She was always the most interesting one. I can see her being like, oh, my other friend also moved to London, or my European friends, or these people I started hanging. It's just, her life always seemed like the most interesting to me.
Yeah, like I'm fucking like a poly group of people, and we are going through Europe now. I would love that for her.
Exactly.
I feel like that's more realistic than like this stupid fallout that they like orchestrated of like, oh, well, she just moved because she's bitter. Samantha has way too much self-confidence to ever move like to 100%. Another country simply because she's pissed at some other girl. Like that's not going to happen.
And especially,
especially
not
Samantha,
Carrie.
This is my Manhattan. I'm not losing my favorite restaurants. Like Samantha would never.
She would never.
Never.
Also, she offered her services to Carrie for free so many times. To think that Carrie was Samantha's meal ticket is the most insane thing in the world. And I think that this was the writers trying to like tell off Kim Cattrall in some way and calling her the one who was just in it for the money.
Yeah.
100%.
Because it's also like Carrie was her meal ticket to making 10% off a podcast. Like, what is Carrie even doing now?
What is she? And how did she get this job?
Yeah, how?
Because truly, she's never talked about sex in her life.
Yeah. She's literally afraid of the word masturbate.
She's terrified.
Yeah.
She talks shit about anal.
Constantly.
Like shames you for it's like her biggest thing is like she doesn't have anal and she like wants everyone else to not.
She loves like being like, that's why I don't ride the A train, and like, are we talking about tuchus lingus? Like, leave me out of it. And I'm like, why are you so
that back door is closed.
Yeah, why are you so anti-anal? And if you are so anti-anal, like, how do you support any of your queer friends?
What queer friends? What?
Right?
Stanford and Anthony, the couple that shouldn't be together but is.
And the two biggest like caricatures of just gay men that you could possibly create.
Which doesn't consider them friends, but more like I don't know,
minions?
gay accessories.
Gay accessories.
Yeah.
That's how I think she views them.
Yeah, I do too.
And she's like, I don't need to get into the details of like what my little gay accessories do at night, as long as they're like at the ball with me to make me look cool.
Yeah, and they can like gas me up and like help me pick what to wear. You know, what gay guys do.
Yeah.
Not butt sex.
Stanford's role has always been like just tending to Carrie. Like he was always there. He was there when she went down the runway at that thing where she fell.
The best.
For the Vogue shoot, like everything. He's always kind of just there just for Carrie. They only really gave him his own storyline in the movies once he finally got married to Anthony.
Yeah, maybe this is why he brings it up to Charlotte. I thought it was like weird that they had like beef, but he's like, you don't see me as like inner circle or whatever. And it's like, no, she doesn't, because Anthony is her little gay minion.
Yeah. Like when have you ever been like center circle? Like, okay, now you are, because Carrie needs something.
This was an interesting moment too with Anthony specifically, when Charlotte comes to him to tell him that Rose is not comfortable with their pronouns being she, her anymore.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah, I was like, why are you going to him about this?
Why not Harry? Rose seems so close with Harry.
Yeah.
Why would we not talk?
For me, it was the audacity of Anthony to compare to a dog. Like when he was like, oh, well, Rose thought she was a dog when she was a little kid. Is she a dog now? Like that is just like that. Like, excuse me.
Like that's not the same. Like a 2-year-old doing that is not the same as, I don't know, her kid looks like, I guess 10. I don't know how old
we think Rose
are.
is 10 because Rose apparently doesn't know about weed or hand jobs or why people wear black to funerals.
Yeah. So that feels right. So I feel like 10 is like an age to know, yourself that way.
Yeah. But also I liked that Charlotte was like, no, I put a dog bowl out for her.
Also, yeah.
Like that was so cute.
That was good.
But yeah, Anthony became I'm calling it a Turk in that moment. We know about TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists. He's being a trans exclusionary radical queer person, which I'm not going to say don't exist. Like there are definitely a lot of parts of the LGBT that are LGB and Q that aren't that trans supporty. So
definitely,
it's good to acknowledge that
sadly
exists, but it also is unfortunate that they're making like the most transphobic character in this moment be a queer person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate when shows do that.
Yeah, and it's like they're not going to do it with any of the main cast girls because they don't want. They're like they'll take even like Miranda up to the line of being a Karen, but they wouldn't outright have her have any like phobias about stuff like that. Yeah, they all have to seem like they can grow and change.
What else did we hate?
Just all of it.
The whole damn show.
Oh no, what I wanted to say too is so like when I first pictured this show, a lot of people were like, yeah, Big has to die. I mean, I'm happy that he's dead now, knowing what the allegations that we know about Chris Noth. But I was a little annoyed in the beginning that that's the route that they had to take. Because if you're going to be having sex in the city, you need sex. And who doesn't have sex? Married people.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like...
And older people.
Yeah, that was like missing the mark so much. Especially if like we're going to be in this like elevated like new show or whatever. Like I want to see Big jack off for Carrie. I want them to have...
I was like, oh, finally, this is hot. And then it was like just a joke. And I was like, what was I supposed to take from that scene? Like, I was like, what?
I felt it was that married people would never jack off for each other. Ha 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 ha. Like, we're so much more about romance and kissing. We would never mutually masturbate. And I was like, wait, so is Carrie having the worst sex of everyone?
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously. I feel like they basically always portrayed Carrie's sex as very vanilla. And whenever she tried anything that was out of the box, it was seen as like something that she always looked back on and was like, oh no, that wasn't like ladylike, or that's not for me, or like that was an experience, you know? So like, I feel like this was no different, but I kind of expected them to be like a little bit more sex positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when she hooked up with the bi guy and she was like, I'm just not that kind of girl. I'm like, what kind?
Oh my God.
I'm like, what?
The kind that's not homophobic.
Yeah. I'm just not that kind of girl. That's not for me. But yeah, I was like, it would have been fun to either see them try to go a little further in the relationship, or what if we're in a world where Carrie like really is into this podcast and Che and her and Jackie D are talking about real things that are really like changing her mind, and she comes home and she's like, I would like to explore more stuff. Like I would like to jack off for each other. And instead of him joking about it, he could like be horrified and be like, this isn't us, you know, like this isn't who we've been. You've always really like been like cool with like what I want, which is what she has done, and like molded herself to him. And like he would finally be uncomfortable because she's talking about sex for the first time, not just this like glossy like, and then we slept together or whatever. Like she's actually like getting into the details, and he's not ready to get into the details. And then if we want her to be single, then that could be the reason, because it was like a real like honest conversation about like growth.
I mean, I think that Big still should have died. It just should have been while Carrie was pegging him.
On a Peloton still, though.
With the Peloton.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know, you're using that for leverage because Carrie is a little shorter. So that's, you know, helping.
Mm-hmm.
Mod that Peloton to be like the bicycle that has the dildo on the end.
Yes.
You know, just moves back and forth.
Yeah. And then massive heart attack. And, you know, Carrie starts, oh no, it was I the cause because I wanted to try new things. You know, I think that's a story.
That is a story, but then that's very anti-pegging.
True.
Like pegging stock would go down the way Pelotons did.
Ryan Reynolds would have to make an infomercial with pegging as a category of sex.
Yeah. Pegging is actually very safe. Just always have a stopper.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then what they're doing with Miranda and Steve is they're making Steve this like old, deaf, God forbid someone's deaf, fuddy-duddy, that she just has ice cream sundaes with him every night and enjoys conversation with him, but they're not having sex. I'm like, first of all, this looks like a fine relationship. You should never like leave someone because of hearing loss. But also, is this really how we're going to have Miranda come out? Is cheating on Steve because he's deaf?
Right, after everything, after him, after the whole like meeting on the bridge to like start a new life together and all of the shit that we went through, like we went through so much.
And he's the only good guy.
But also Steve was always amazing in bed. Whatever problems she had with him and his job or how he lived or his shit stains, he was always putting it down. You know, so when her main problem that she's talking to with her friends, not her husband, we're not having sex, we haven't had sex or whatever. I'm like, you know, if you asked Steve, he would eat you into next week.
Yeah, like Steve is down.
I would have liked to start their relationship maybe in a couples counseling or something. And she just says, I've never gotten over you cheating, honestly. Or I don't think I'm attracted to you anymore. Like something where there's like more honesty.
And she's such an honest character. She always has been, that it's like they could have easily done that.
Yeah.
I just think they missed out so much with her. Like she had so much opportunity to like grow into this like super like maybe more like the actual actress, like Cynthia Nixon.
Yeah. And also they're giving her this entire like alcoholic thing.
That's what I was
which Charlotte notices, and of course Carrie is like, why don't you just stop fucking noticing
things? And then she looks off wistfully at the moon and is like, I'm going home.
Yeah, like
just like that.
Yeah, just like that. I was like, deal with your own shit. Not even like hey, Charlotte, I'm, still mourning. I can't deal with this. Why don't you go talk to her? Nothing. Just literally look away. Don't notice that.
That was another thing too that I was like, is this an inside joke with us that Miranda's an alcoholic? Because everybody on the show would be an alcoholic.
For sure. Like, I mean, with the amount of cosmopolitans that they were drinking every single night during the original series, like, I'm surprised it never came up.
I think, I feel like what happened is like they were like, okay, Gen Z, get in here and tell us everything problematic about like the initial series, and then we're gonna bring it up this time in a very clunky way.
Yeah. And one person was like, the way that they used alcohol in the original was a little weird. And then they were like, oh yeah, we'll do something with that. And it's like, okay, I guess. Like,
yeah, when Miranda first asked for like the Chardonnay at the bar in the morning, I was like, yeah, this is Sex in the City.
Yeah, it's Sex in the City.
We drink at bars in the morning.
Like,
says about me that I actually didn't pick up on Miranda's character being portrayed as an alcoholic until people on TikTok started commenting after I'd done like my episode 2 recap, where like they were like, is anyone else noticing that Miranda's becoming an alcoholic? And I'm just like, no.
Yeah. It wasn't. I saw like people on Twitter saying it, and then it wasn't until like Charlotte pulls all the little bottles out of her bag that I was like, oh, this is a thing they're doing on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When she was like telling the bartender to hurry up, I was like, oh yeah, she just doesn't want, like, she's just trying to go help Carrie with the funeral stuff.
Same.
She has to give a speech about a man that she actively disliked for years.
Yeah, I was like, I think funerals suck, and she didn't like this guy, and for some reason she has to give a speech. Like,
yeah, I'm
I
like,
was
needing
okay.
a drink at a funeral, if that's the sign of alcoholism, like,
yeah,
we got to expand who's an alcoholic.
Exactly.
But yeah, they're doing that in a very indelicate way.
It will make me very angry though if they use like somehow Miranda's drinking problem to instigate some type of like thing with Che. Like if Miranda gets like super drunk one night and like hooks up with Che, that's gonna piss me off.
I feel like that's what's already happening. Like she wouldn't have gone to the after party of the comedy concert unless she was like fiending for booze.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up, because then they're basically saying, all right, well, this character who like 15 years ago was like, no, I'm totally straight, and like explored that. They're going, oh, well, if you just get a little bit fucked up, then maybe you'll go the other way.
I think it's fiending for booze, and then also like what Che said really resonated, like the whole like, it's just like it's the whole just like, if you're ready to make a change. So I think that's still ringing in her ears, and she's like, oh, so inspired, and like, this person who inspired me is here, and I want to spend as much time with them as possible, because we do get that like creepy moment when Miranda's like, it's amazing, but and it's like, calm down, like breathe.
Yeah. No, there are things like I do want them to hook up. I just wish it wasn't this way.
It's like, I feel like it also could have just been like, let them be divorced, let them be co-parenting with like a there's
why does there have to be something sinister about being queer and coming out? Why do we have to hurt somebody else in order to have this character be happy?
Exactly. Maybe they'll redeem, maybe they'll do something like, hey, Steve, I need to have a conversation with you. I feel this. I doubt it, but it would be nice. A girl can dream, right?
Yeah. My dream was that, actually Miranda realizes that she still loves like both of them. She has new feelings. Steve agrees. A polyamorous relationship, new dynamic.
As a polyamorous person, I am here for it.
Yeah, same. Like I'm like, let's do that. That's new.
Totally. And I could see Steve being poly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve has a lot of love to give.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was like that free-spirited, like kind of always carefree, like goofy guy. Like I feel like he'd be down at least to try it out.
And
he doesn't have those insecurities.
He's not insecure. We have to give a shout out to Brady Hobbs for stepping his pussy up.
Jesus.
And becoming the Samantha Jones that we needed.
Did we need to see a 17-year-old fucking on television, though?
Fair point. I don't know if we needed to see a 17-year-old fucking on television.
I didn't. I didn't get a lot from that. It also looked so fake and bad. It was so clearly just like, like underwear rubbing against underwear. Like, that they give.
The picture.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture banging across the bedroom wall on the parent side? Like the picture's just flapping.
And Steve's like, what? I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think showing Brady banging, the only benefit was it showed the passage of time that like our little baby Brady is now a sex fiend. But that is something that I would like to step away from in TV is like just like teens banging for no reason. That's why I'm obsessed with the sex lives of college girls now.
Yeah, I love that
like,
show.
They're in college.
What is that on?
HBO Max.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yes.
It's good. And I think Mindy produced it, if not wrote it as well.
She produced and wrote it. Yeah. I really like it. She created it. The only thing to me is that sometimes it's very much like clearly based on her experience in college. And so sometimes it feels a little dated where it's like, I don't know that kids these days are doing that. Like you could have set this show in 2005 and it would have been great. But, it's at least like a very honest more grown up look at like sexual awakening that doesn't involve high school kids.
Cute.
So I love it.
Yeah. And it's like very like fumbly. Like nobody's having like Gossip Girl sex where it's just like, there's stockings and garters and you're like, how do you do that? Like everything's very clunky and like, yeah, that was college.
Yeah.
Gossip Girl sex. That's a great way to describe it.
Gossip Girl sex. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever have that. I don't think I'll ever be whatever that is.
Word lingerie.
Too fancy, too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh, then Charlotte. I did like the other thing is a lot of people are just assuming Rose is non-binary already when Rose hasn't said anything about what they want to be called.
Yeah.
Rose just said at this point, I don't want to be she, her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just that they don't feel like a girl.
They don't feel like a girl. We don't know if that means they feel like a boy, if they feel like nothing, if they feel, we haven't gotten into that conversation, but I did think it was sweet at the comedy concert when Che was like, my family loves me. And you can see Charlotte being like, well, I love Rose. Of course I love Rose, even if it's something I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, are we getting something really right here?
I'm glad they didn't let that drag on for too long, the kind of like fumbliness of Charlotte.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about, that it would be like a whole thing. And it feels like now she's going to be able to like accept it and just like go forward embracing it. And that's where I'm hoping the story goes.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I didn't really get in the first episode also when she tried to make Rose wear a dress. I was like, gender aside, don't buy your child an expensive dress without them there.
Yeah. Without them saying they want it. Like, who does that? Like, you deserve to get yelled at as a mom for that.
And who is wearing Oscar de la Renta still? Like, it's very 2005.
But I guess she would be out of touch, I feel like.
See, I saw Charlotte being more like what they're making Miranda out to be. I feel like that would have made more sense. It would have been understandable. But Miranda lives in Brooklyn, owns a townhouse, like, just what's going on?
Exactly. Miranda, I feel, and it would be more interesting to see Miranda if she was in this place where she could just be queer from the start, she's pushing her friends like she used to do, because she would always be the one who was like, oh my goodness, you know, like, why are you guys thinking this way? Like, a woman could do this. And if she was really in that place instead of this area where it's like, oh, she's gonna have to like hurt her husband to get there.
She also was like the first one to bring up basically that they never passed the Bechdel test. Like, she didn't say that, but she was like, we're like 4 really successful women. Like, all we ever do is talk about boys. Like, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's a little odd. And it's like, where is that Miranda? I miss her.
Where is she? I would love her to like open up. Maybe we'll see this because we've only seen 3 episodes so far, but maybe she can open up to Carrie and Charlotte and be like, you know, I really did like that woman that I was set up with all those years ago, but you guys were so fucking homophobic that I didn't think I could go through with it, because that feels like a real like storyline for a queer person. Like, I've been around friends that I'm like, oh, I can't say shit around them because of stuff that they said in 7th grade. Like, I assume that they're homophobic. You know, like, that would be such like a, I don't know, honest way to be like, hey, Carrie, like, when you said bisexuality didn't exist and that it was like a one-way train to gay town, that actually did a real number on my psyche.
Yeah.
It almost felt like it was personal towards Miranda at the time, too, because if you remember when Samantha dated a woman, they didn't give that same negativity. And I almost think it was because they just targeted that into like a sexual. Like, they didn't even consider that.
Didn't take Samantha's gay relationship seriously at all. They were just like, that's just her experimenting. That's just her new fad. That's her new thing.
Yeah, they were like, she's Miranda, bisexual, not bi-romantic.
Yeah.
And things they're not official unless they're romantic.
Exactly.
I feel like they did give Samantha a little bit of shit, though, that they were just like, what?
Yeah, it was more of like a shock, though. And I feel like with Miranda, they were like having her like reconsider like the implications of her entire life if she were to like date a woman. Like, what's this going to do to your career? Is it going to help you? Is it going to hurt you? Like, it was just like, it was so much more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was going to help. The partners wanted a lesbian couple to hang out with.
Exactly. Who doesn't? Come on.
And if her friends...
I want a lesbian couple.
Yeah, if her friends had been more supportive in that time, could she have discovered herself earlier and made partner earlier? Mind-blowing. I also just hate how they've always depicted lesbians as like very like hard, unfeeling people, and a very like exclusive group. Just that episode where Charlotte starts hanging out with the art lesbians and they're like, oh, come skiing with us. And she's like, yes, I want to come skiing. And she's like about to come out too, like in some way. And they're like, sorry, if you don't eat pussy, like you're not gay. And it's like, no, it just means you haven't eaten pussy yet. Like, are you kidding? Are you really closing the barrier to new members?
I hate when we were in that mentality of like the whole gold star, like ranking, like, you know, are you truly gay? Like,
yeah.
So annoying.
All thanks to another show that was brought back for no reason, the L Word.
Thank you.
Another just, you know, there was like Sex in the City, and then it was like for the queer girls who were like, oh no, that's so heteronormative. We just had the L Word telling us that we could have impossible, like skinny, hot lesbian sex.
Exactly. L Word, also very transphobic and is mentioned in Disclosure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the whole storyline with that character Max was in retrospect fucked up.
And it's biphobic too, because what's her face? The cute Alice. Whenever she is dating one gender, everyone's like, oh, you're back. Oh, now you're back. Yeah. And you're back. And she's like, still bi. Like, I guess it's good that she has those conversations.
They even did that shit on the reality show version of it 10 years later. When they did the real L Word, they called that character Romy Slinger because she was bi.
Whoa.
So like the biphobia even continued on to the spinoff.
Whoa.
And in the reboot, Alice is like with a man again, and everyone's like, oh no, it's gonna like hurt your ratings because like lesbians won't think you're cool and stuff. And it's like she's been a bisexual character the whole time. She's never pretended to be a lesbian.
Ever.
So I guess it's safe to say that the drama series that defined our generation, whether we were straight or queer, both
fucked us up. Yeah.
End of the spectrum, TV did not do a great job for us.
No.
Nathan Lane's character was probably bisexual, and everybody just made fun of him for having Bitsy Bon Muffling as a beard. Like, I bet he just loved her.
Yeah.
Totally possible.
Rest in peace, our bi king. Love him. I just have also in my notes, Carrie drowning Big because he didn't jack off for her. That's why.
Yeah.
Would have been a better...
Just, put him in the shower, let him go out. Like, you know.
That's what she literally came home, stared at him, drowned him, then suffocated him with her mouth. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, now it's time for new dick. Ha ha ha.
And just remember, like, his phone was right there. And I know they tried to make it seem like, oh no, his phone fell in the shower, but that's not enough water to make his phone stop working.
Also, they have a landline, which we learn in episode 2.
They have a landline, and like Carrie had her own phone. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Also, why doesn't she know his passwords?
Right.
Yeah. And the dog was a little like, what's this dog?
What's this dog?
Who's this dog?
I think that's going to come up and be something. Like, I don't know.
A lot of people have been predicting that maybe one of Natasha's sons
is his kid.
Is big.
Is Biggs.
I kind of feel like that might be the reveal.
I mean, I want to say I have too much respect for Natasha. Natasha would never do that.
And like, why would Big?
I have my doubts.
You know, why would it Big want to be a father to that kid? Like, why would he, you know, be like, I'm gonna be a secret dad?
Yeah. I feel like in general they hired writers who don't know the initial characters, but when it comes to Natasha, I'm like, no, they know her and she would never do that.
Natasha's about the firm boundaries, okay?
Yep. And good for her. I mean, she was put through hell. That, like, she honestly, she's a trooper for even talking to Carrie for those like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I would block Carrie too if I was her. I was like, right call, girl. Do it.
I love how when she walked out the door, she was like, I don't think we need to follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah. It's like, exactly. Thank you. Carrie, get a life.
Get a life. Also, just the way that, like, I feel like, I don't know if this just impacted me or a lot of other people, but the way that they glamorized toxic men who are like unable to like say their feelings and cheating. Like they made cheating seem like something like you wanted to be the other woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a true love, you know, crosses all boundaries type deal. And it's like, oh, Carrie's just a dick.
Yeah. And then now we're making Miranda a dick too. Miranda's never been a dick. Just let her amicably break up with Steve and then sow her oats.
Yeah, maybe that'll happen. Maybe after that magic shotgun of weed, Miranda will be like, now I realize I need to do this the right way.
Yeah, she's like, now I have the driest mouth of all time and I'm going to go use it to communicate with my husband.
My husband to end it.
Do we think they're going to do a second season of this, or do we already know? Is this like a 1-season thing, or like, are we...
I feel like they're going to because people keep watching it. Like, it's such a fucking cash grab that, like, why not?
Yeah. It wasn't, like, confirmed if it was a limited series, but knowing HBO, like, they made a second Big Little Lies when that wasn't supposed to really happen. I think they're going to make multiple seasons of this. And I know they had said something about leaving it open for Samantha to come back in the future, which made me be like, oh, so yeah, you guys want to write more of this.
I mean, they just want her back so badly.
They need her.
It's
nothing.
I mean, it's you can't have the show without her. I mean, it feels so incomplete.
I don't think any actor has ever been vindicated as much as Kim Cattrall in this, because we're literally like, oh, like, this is no Sex in the City. Like, she was the sex, and now she's gone. She's gone.
Everybody else has to put out statements like, we're so sorry we worked with Chris Noth, and she's just like, I'm chilling.
She's like, I'm actually in the UK having so many orgies, and it's a blast.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting because Kim Cattrall is currently filming the Queer as Folk reboot. So I also find it interesting. She was also kind of like, I don't want to go back in time and work on this show that, like, had just really horrible dynamics and portrayals of queer people and women. And instead, I'm going to be in this show that is actually trying to be more diverse and improve upon itself. So, you know.
That's amazing.
She was filming that in New York.
I'm proud of her.
I'm proud of her, too. Ugh, Ashley, I knew having you here would bring us some TV nuggets.
Oh yeah, I'm plugged in.
Oh, I was going to say too, we forget that Natasha is so much younger than Carrie.
Oh yeah.
Remember that being like such a central storyline that she's like, you're marrying a literal child, and now in this scene, Carrie's the one that's acting like a child, and Natasha's literally creating a little ice pack for her and mothering her.
Well, Carrie always acted like a child.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, we just believed growing up that Carrie was, like, in the right about everything.
Yeah.
Carrie is like the id, right? Like in Psych.
Yeah.
It's like
she feels and goes. Like there's no like critical thinking. It is just feel action.
Mm-hmm. And like, everybody be there for me. I'm not ever going to be there for you. I'm just going to be here doing me, wearing a lot of layers like a Disney Channel star.
And my Manolos.
And this fucking Forrest Gump storyline where she just like can't stop walking.
Yeah, I was like, okay, these are my tennis shoes.
You'd have so many blisters.
What are you doing up so early?
Yeah, like, girl, no, you're literally going to need foot surgery, Carrie.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching this and for any reason you think that Carrie is a hero or to model your life against somebody like this, you're wrong. Watch this show as a farce.
Yes.
And then it'll be more enjoyable, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if Sex and the City is like, if you take a singular person and you take like different facets of their personality and exaggerate those individual facets, you have each character.
Yeah.
Like almost if you try to look at it as a metaphor, but that might be too deep.
Well, also maybe this is too deep. Maybe the reason that we're seeing Carrie as the hero sometimes is because she fancies herself the hero. Like Candace Bushnell is the one who wrote these books. So she's writing herself as the main character, but she as the writer is flawed. So it's like some...
Did we just realize that Sex and the City is a psychological thriller?
Is it? Yeah. Is this like M. Night Shyamalan?
Maybe. I think that they don't... I think Carrie's awful and she thinks she's the hero and the people writing it also think she's the hero.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah. I think in the end they're like, but you're going to root for her when she like does realize like she deserves love again after Big. And it's like, I mean, I'd be fine with her just like living on an island after Big dies and never talking again.
She's banished.
Yeah, no, I think it's very clear for us, for the listeners, especially if you're a young person that's impressionable, like just know this is not who you want to be like. Sure, you can take little things about her. If like you like high heels too, like high heels, but that doesn't need to be your whole personality.
Be the whole thing.
No.
Also, a final note is I think they're setting up that Carrie's eventually going to leave Che and start her own podcast, which...
God help us.
Don't do that. You need Che. Yeah. You know nothing.
I can't tell what they're going to do because they also keep having the dynamic of like everyone else like kind of joking about the fact that no one cares about podcasts. Like Miranda, like, I refuse. That's the line. And it's like, okay, so what are we supposed to take from Carrie's career? Is she impressive or is this just
she a
sad?
Joke? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd be like, oh, that's sad. You're on like, a podcast with like 2 mid-level comics.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Woke moment.
Yeah.
So I was drawing a parallel in my stories this week between Frasier and Carrie Bradshaw, because I think Frasier is going to be coming back. I think podcasting is has to be part of their reboot as well.
Oh, yeah. I think the premise right now is that Kramer now owns a podcast network.
Who's Kramer?
And he has conflict.
Frasier?
Not Frasier.
Imagine if it was Kramer though.
Kramer. So
that's
Frasier
somebody who needs some critical race theory.
Kramer is actually now Q.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so then Frasier like has conflict with like these young leftists who have a like liberal podcast, and I think the show is about them like having conflict.
Wait, do you know this for a fact?
Yeah, they announced like what the premise was.
Unreal.
So it's him like owning a podcast network, I guess.
Okay, amazing. See, I just intuited that. I was like, I think that this is going to be involved. But with both of them, he's a narcissist as well. He's got so many problems and he's giving advice on this show. And Carrie also has so many problems and is giving advice. And I was posting about this and somebody wrote me and they were like, I think what we can learn from this is that like mediocre white people get platforms that they're like not educated enough to have. And I was like, that's how I feel about this podcast, because I feel like I know nothing. And how are these people like giving advice? And she's like, yeah, but if that's the premise of the podcast, then that's different than Frasier and Carrie being like, hi, we know everything.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between like speaking from your own personal experience and bringing people on to speak from their personal experience versus what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah,
both of them
like
are mostly critiquing other people's lives.
Yeah. And they're calling Carrie like the most brilliant cis woman who speaks for all cis women. It's like, okay.
Miss Cis.
Yeah. God, it's so bad.
What do you call it? Subtitles never get it right. They always spell it SIS. I'm like, that's not what. She's Miss Cis.
Yeah. Or when they said sister brother, I was like, oh
God.
on.
And Che had to be like, yes, because I am both and neither. Which I did feel their frustration in that moment, because they're like, please don't just call me sibling then.
Yeah. Family.
But yeah, so when I was doing this Frasier comparison, Frasier is always banging so many people, right? And Carrie is allegedly banging so many people. Frasier, by the end, allegedly, Frasier, by the end of his series, has boinked up to 50 randos, whereas Carrie Bradshaw is, can you guess how many? As a sex columnist, as a dating guru?
I mean, I would guess high, like close to like 100 or something.
Ashley?
I'd guess low. I mean, I have to think about how many people she actually sleeps with in the course of the show, which isn't that many people, I feel like. I put it like 8, 9.
17.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like that's kind of for the show and how Carrie is like really strict and boring. That's a little impressive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just...
And we had 7 years?
7 years.
18 people in 7 years?
I did 18 people after I broke up with my ex. Like, what are you talking about?
Same.
But those are the things that I feel people should know when watching the show, is that, yes, we are watching the quote-unquote sex person be pretty anti-sex.
Because she's really the marriage person.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Her only ever goal is like, get a guy that wants to marry you, give you the ring. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Trick him.
That's one thing that like they never really touched on growing up, was just like, she is a serial monogamist.
Yep.
Like that's it. Like she is just looking from one to the next, like serious relationship.
Mm-hmm. And even Samantha, who's like the most sex positive of all, only 47. It's a lot, but it's less than Frasier Crane, whose show isn't about sex. And I just thought that was very interesting, because I was like, and then somebody wrote in that Jerry Seinfeld's character was like 70 people. And I was like, well, nobody fucks more than a male comic. Like,
yeah, Seinfeld in every episode. That's like the whole show.
But I just think that's so interesting in like the zeitgeist that we had these men fucking so many people with reckless abandon, and yet our star of the sex show is having no sex, and the quote unquote sluttiest of those women is having less sex than those men. And I just remember, like, when I was categorizing myself back in the day, I was like, well, you don't want to be a Samantha. Samantha is like too much. And it's like, there is no too much, and it needs to be less gendered. And if Carrie killed her husband for a reason, it's because she has to rack up some Seinfeld numbers.
Exactly. She's got to get laid.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair
enough. Well, you guys, this has been so fun. I wish we could talk about it forever. Maybe we'll come back when they release more episodes. Where can I find both of you online? Paris, go first.
I am at Paris Campbell on Instagram, at Stop It Paris on TikTok.
And I'm at the Ashley Ray on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter's where I tweet most of my TV opinions and writing. And I'll probably be writing about this show for Vulture or somewhere. So
just keep giving them like more press. Like,
yeah,
right. Like I saw a video the other day talking about how this is basically their marketing strategy.
I think that's what it is. I think that they saw like the Real Housewives, what's been going on in the recent seasons of Housewives. Nobody watches Housewives because the show is so compelling. They watch it because Twitter discourse is so compelling after.
Yeah. It's the Emily in Paris thing where people realize you can make a show people hate and they'll talk about it because they hate it, and they'll talk about it so much you get nominated for an Emmy.
Oh no.
The new season just dropped.
The show better not get nominated for shit.
The show better not get nominated for anything.
I definitely think this show will get nominated for something.
Fuck my life.
God. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah. You can also check out my podcast, TV I Say with Ashley Ray. The whole first season's out. The second season will be out in March.
Amazing. Also, Paris, I didn't ask you this. We usually ask everybody on the podcast about their first time coming. Ashley, we already know yours.
Yes.
Paris, do you remember yours?
I do. Ooh. It is embarrassing, but I will tell it because it is funny.
Yay.
And I am willing to embarrass myself for humor any day. So I don't remember exactly how old I was. I know I was under the age of 10 though. And I remember I very recently started discovering that like it feels kind of good to like touch down there. I didn't know what I was doing though. And I was sitting on my bedroom floor, and my bedroom floor growing up, I had this like medium blue carpet. So if anything like wet got on it, it just turned like black.
Okay.
Like it couldn't be more obvious that there was like a spot there. Sorry. Just like to set it up.
I get it.
So I'm sitting on my bedroom floor alone, obviously. And I'm, kind of touching down there, and I end up having my first orgasm, like not knowing what's kind of happening to me. And immediately afterwards, I guess like my body just kind of didn't know it was happening. So I just peed, just on the floor, like just all over. And of course it leaves like a huge circle, like in the shape of my butt. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I go to the bathroom, I end up pouring more water on it to like disguise the shape, just so it ends up being like a blob.
Yep.
I don't think anyone ended up seeing it anyway. But that was the very first time, and I haven't stopped
That's
since.
amazing. That's like when you pee in a pool and it like allegedly changes color.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't. Did anybody ever say, nobody ever said anything about the wet spot on the floor?
No, because I think when it dried, you couldn't see it, but it was probably there for, I'm guessing, like a day or so. Nobody ever said anything, thankfully. Maybe they thought, we did have a dog, so maybe they thought the dog could have like peed on my bedroom floor.
Blame it on the dog.
Yeah. Boom.
Exactly.
Did you do it again after that, or did you like wait?
Not immediately after. I think I remember being kind of like, what was that? And I remember it wasn't good. Like it was definitely an orgasm. And I'll never forget like what that, but it was like compared to like orgasms I have now as an adult, it was like, I guess like weaker, or like it felt maybe like too sensitive and kind of like a overwhelming way. So I was kind of like, I don't know like yes, I liked that, but I don't know if that's like good for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I also like when I was younger, I had like a little bit of like kind of guilt with like with sex, or I guess with like masturbation. Afterwards, like I would kind of always be like, oh, like I did something wrong. And it took me like until I was almost, 18, 19 to kind of get past
You know what, Paris? Carrie Bradshaw, one of the most prolific sex columnists of our age, also felt very uncomfortable about masturbation into her 60s.
I wonder where I learned that.
There you go.
We wish she had talked about it more. I wish it had been like Pleasure in the City, not just like, yeah, we had penetrative sex and now we're dating.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, it's
GGG in the city.
Yeah.
What's GGG?
Good game.
What?
Yeah.
Good game and giving.
It's
a term. What's his face came up with, the dude who
Dan
did
Savage?
the Santorum thing. Savage, yeah. It's just like an abbreviation people put in like their dating profiles to be like, I'm down for whatever.
Like, I will eat you out. I don't think that's extra.
Yeah, like
That's what I read it as.
Yeah. Like,
when I see that, I'm like they're okay with eating pussy. That's what this means.
One more thing, speaking of this, because I feel like Sex in the City is very like face-to-face sex. Like it's like, let our junk touch, but like nothing else. Anytime that they've talked about oral, it's been in a really weird way. Like the Mr. Pussy storyline.
Yeah.
How it was like, oh, he's really good at it, but it's because he's a fucking freak.
And they made that whole montage of Charlotte going out on dates with him where he's like licking the oyster and he's like shoving foods in his mouth and like can't a guy who's like just a normal dude be good at eating pussy? I mean, there's plenty of them.
No, it made me think that anybody who wanted to do that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Gotta unlearn that shit. But anyway, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. I have to ask this question to everybody after a sexual experience, which this was. Paris Campbell, did you finish?
I definitely came.
Okay, great. I'm so happy. Ashley Ray, did you finish?
Oh, yeah. Got it done.
Unreal. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
And Rob. Oh, Rob.
Yeah.
What's your take on this show as a little Gen Z?
I've never really seen it.
Great.
I've seen like a couple seasons and I was like, it felt really dated. I was like, I'm sure there's something that's a little bit better that I could use.
Yeah.
To like watch.
Definitely. You're better off with that.
It just seems like a lot of effort to go back now and be like, I might watch some of the new season, but just...
Or if you at least watch it with this lens. Knowing that
for sure.
These characters are dumb and imperfect and like...
Definitely, but I feel like
clunky.
I had a hard time watching it with that lens as well because I was like, these characters are dumb.
It's so tone deaf.
It's just like I don't.
It's just really like it's just a hate watch.
It felt
it's
like
just
a lot
something
of time investment for no gain anywhere.
Totally.
Yeah. To me, it's just pure hate watch.
Yeah. Also, why was Steve so sad that Big was dead?
No idea.
He was Team Aiden. I didn't even know they were friends.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, thanks for coming again.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on How Come. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help, 'cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
Oh my God. And we're coming back next season. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. I'm sure people were like freaking out, but yeah, don't even worry about it. Like, we'll be here. We're coming. I don't know when, but come to shows in the meantime. Sign up for the newsletter, howcomepodcast.com. Follow me, Remy Casimir. Follow the show, How Come Podcast, on Instagram. And I'll miss you if there's any downtime. There might not be. We might just come back. But the schedule's so irregular anyway. It's like, what is off season? But yeah, don't worry. There's going to be season 5. And as always, send us in ideas. Things that you want to hear about, because we love you and we couldn't do this without you. And if you want unedited extras with video, patreon.com/howcome, $5. Trust me, you want to see this stuff. It's crazy. Okay, thanks for staying for the Marvel section. Goodbye.